diligence legislation and laws, also laws and regulations around the world. And I will talk about how they connect with technologies that our company 11Foundry has developed and implemented in our software portfolio. After this, I will show you a brief demo of our Command Center compliance platform. So to kick it off, let's talk about compliance requirements. What is the sort of common denominator, the baseline that is usually required by due diligence legislation around the world? The first requirement is understanding your supply chains and the business you are doing, mapping your supply chains, your bill of materials, defining what the product is and what you are trying to trade, right? And one of the technologies that we have developed and deployed to support this is our building blocks approach. Here's an example how this could look like. Sourcing countries, forests, companies, species are all building blocks that constitute your supply chain. You can think of these building blocks as risk vectors. And so of each one of these building blocks, we can assess and identify the risks that are prevalent or might be prevalent. But then they come together like a building block to create a product or a transaction at the end. And with this, they enter the stream of commerce. So this is our building blocks approach, and you will see more about in some minutes in my Command Center demo. So information collection is also something that is at the center of due diligence, yeah? And it is going to become increasingly challenging as the volume of information and data that needs to be shared will continuously rise as we can expect, also with EUDR. So we have developed a tool that is some tools called Accelerator and Portal. And here's a picture of our Accelerator tool. It's a mobile-friendly online form tool that where our users, the Command Center and Accelerator users, can build forms and questionnaires and send it to their supply chain partners. Everywhere in the world where there is a stable connection, the questionnaires can be entered and information can be shared quickly and easily, depending on which information you have defined in the questionnaires. So another very important topic is visualization and reporting. Let's talk about this. We've developed some useful tools like our mapping toolbox. When building out a supply chain in Command Center, and I show you this in a minute, yeah, the supply chain map is automatically generated and the geographic footprint of your supply chain will be shown, yeah. So you can see at a glance everywhere in the world how your supply chain looks like and how, where your products and transactions are sourced from. This is a picture of our mapping and GIS toolbox. So next is a key piece of every due diligence regulation is due diligence, obviously, and this doesn't change with EUDR. It is really the heart of our Command Center, helping you to perform due diligence, to collect information, risk assess information, and explain and document the risk mitigation measures that you took before importing the product. We have built a so-called assessment engine that we are really proud of. This is what drives all the rest of Command Center. So it is structured like this, yeah. It allows you to ask the questions you need to ask in the course of your due diligence inquiries, lets you document the outcomes, your justifications, and risk mitigation measures. And finally, declaration. So this is another key piece of the puzzle, especially when it comes to EUDR. At the moment, we are building an API integration with the EU information system to enable sharing due diligence statement information and data with the information system directly. 11Foundry's approach is a very cooperative one, and this means we are working with a broad range of integration partners. Every customer can bring their service providers on board, and we integrate with the solutions that you are already using and or would like to use in the future. So building blocks, accelerator, portal, our mapping toolbox, and the assessment engine, and then a broad range of integration partners. These are the features that we expect to need for EUDR compliance. And these are the features you are going to see now in my command center demo. So with that, I would like to switch gears and open up command center. So welcome to our command center due diligence platform. Here you see the dashboard, and from the dashboard, I directly want to dive into the heart of command center, our building blocks and our components. We, as I mentioned before, we are looking at risk in the different areas of a supply, in the different building blocks of this supply chain. Jurisdictions, species, companies, forests, products, and also transactions. So I prepared an example today, a purchase from Cameroon, and I know that here at the ATIBT booth, the real experts are today as well. So please keep in mind, it is only example information that I compiled to illustrate how command center works. So we are here in our transactions area, and I'm opening up my Cameroon export number 090388. So we are seeing here in the component details an overview of all of information. What is the transaction? Who is my direct supplier? Which volume is under review? And also information about next review dates can be registered here. If I move forward in the building block sector, everyone is able to see how the supply chain looks like, starting from the jurisdiction, the species, the forest source. That is our forest source for this purchase, and all these companies that are involved in the supply chain. Building blocks can be entered at any time. The supply chain information can be updated, and so at any time changes, if the supply chain changes, can be made here. So with that, I also want to mention and want to show that once this supply chain information is compiled in the building block section, a map is drawn here in our map section, and the supply chain is visualized. Yeah, it is possible. I took publicly available information about this polygon here, and in Cameroon concession, and so this enables me to upload it here into our command center environment, and I also can see the geo coordinates where every company in the supply chain is located, but most important, I can see the polygon information here. If I click here, I and you all can see the more detailed view. In advanced options, the coordinate string is visible, and all this information is very relevant because it needs to be shared and passed on through the supply chain. Good. If I go back here to my export, I want to proceed to our assessment engine, yeah? And I'm opening an assessment that I started today for this transaction. And you see on the left side indicators that I created. They are inspired by the upcoming EUDR regulations, and the command center user can create these indicators. Everyone can create them themselves, yeah, change it at any time, update the information. On the left side, so you see the indicator, then indicator resources can host information about what to do, how to answer, how to research the information, and also links can be included. The finding will help us to identify if there is a risk present, yeah, and my indicator is asking if all information is collected, and I will say yes, the information is collected. And in the background, I already created a set of default justification text that is appearing here, which helps me to structure and manage the risk assessment process. And so as I have a positive answer here, I just select the information and the justification that applies. So we go, for every risk assessment, we go through this set of questions. Links can be inserted, context can be provided for the compliance teams. And also here we can ask if there have been certain risks in the supply chain, obviously, and the screening of the supply chain under investigation brought me to the information that there is a potential deforestation risk in the forest management unit in the concession that we are looking at. So with this, I am switching out of Command Center to the Orbify platform. Orbify is also a partner of ours, and Orbify is providing geospatial data and helps with automating the analysis of satellite imagery. So with this, I can just show you the dashboard that the Orbify platform provides, and it shows certain information, a set of relevant EUDR information about the state of deforestation, risk levels, etc. As we are in the interest of time, I scroll here to the end of this dashboard, and I can show you that we can have an overview of the historical deforestation in this forest management unit. If I go down, I have a visual representation of the areas where a possible deforestation happened in the last years. And if I scroll down, at the end, I have a risk summary, forest degradation, and deforestation is detected in this area. So what now? We go back to Command Center, and we can now take the time to look further if the deforestation alert is correct. We need to investigate the documents that we received, and finally, we can decide to apply risk mitigation measures. Yeah, if it turns out that by collecting additional information, it could turn out, and we expect to see this frequently, that deforestation alert is not substantial, we can, and the Command Center user can add this information in here to document the process of investigation and due diligence at the end. So indicators, Command Center will come up with a suggestion, a risk suggestion. Yeah, is there a non-negligible risk for importing? Yes or no? And this is the suggestion that is driven by the set of indicators. However, if I could apply the right risk mitigation measures, the system let me decide if the non-negligible risk persists, or if the user could bring it down to a negligible risk here. And this lets you, and the system lets you also take notes and share information about special compliance procedures. So at the end, finalizing the assessment is just a click away. The assessment can be approved, it can be returned, and I want to close it now here without finalizing. It's also possible to generate reports from out of Command Center. And I would like to show you an example report. This is how a risk assessment report for the jurisdiction risk of Cameroon looks like. So the indicators are displayed, the finding and the justification, as well as potential risk mitigation measures. This is especially useful when you have to communicate your risk assessment, your due diligence efforts to your customers or to a competent authority. Good. If I return here to my transaction details, I talked now about the risk assessment. It's also possible to attach the information of your internal auditors or risk managers here to this export. Documentation can be attached. Yeah, relevant supply chain information can be attached and linked to in this case, to my Google Drive, for example. Yeah, this way, all information is here in this place at one place to gather the information, to analyze it, and to show the procedures, the due diligence procedures. So this is how our command center works, and we are preparing at the moment for the UDR, and we are integrating. We can help our customers with setting the system up and be prepared for the UDR. I want to use the chance also to talk to, I wanted to ask if Enrico from Orbify, because I just showed the Orbify platform here. Enrico from Orbify is at the fair at the moment. He also mentioned he would be at the booth. So if you see him, you can also certainly talk about their Orbify platform, the satellite verification with him. I cannot participate in person today, but I would like to invite you to reach out to me and my colleague for a more detailed presentation. I will be happy to jump on a demo and show you our command center platform and also our solutions that we deploy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Katarina. And we are going to take some questions from the participants. Yeah. So, s'il y a des questions, on peut prendre quelques questions. Il n'y en a pas? Ouais. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Actually, this is not a question. I just want to thank Katarina because I'm Enrico. She mentioned Orbify. I work for Orbify. So if everybody's interested in this kind of monitoring, basically, we are providing the geospatial data to this kind of analysis to command centers. So, I mean, I'm here. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Une question? Okay, there is no question, Katarina. So we thank you a lot for. Okay. One question, please.
Ce n'est pas une question en tant que telle. C'est toujours pour comprendre. Quand il y a des notions qu'on ne maîtrise pas, il faut demander. Hier, il y a Emmanuel qui a demandé ce que signifiait dégradation. Donc, je reviens sur les notions de déforestation et de dégradation. Quelle est vraiment la différence entre les deux termes? Quand est-ce qu'on va parler d'une déforestation dans une unité forestière d'aménagement? Quand est-ce qu'on va parler d'une dégradation dans le même site? Ça, c'est d'un. Par rapport à l'exploitation forestière, hier, j'ai essayé de dire que c'est une opération qui est dictée par la loi. C'est le client qui dit, je veux 2 essences ou 3. dans toute une unité forestière d'aménagement. Donc, elle est sélective. Je ne sais pas si est-ce qu'il y a des dégradations et des déforestations dans des unités forestières d'aménagement. Ça, c'est ma première question. Parce qu'elle est sélective. Tant que le client ne dit pas, tant que l'opérateur ne reçoit pas de demandes, comme on l'a dit hier ici, l'opérateur en question ne va jamais aller couper le bois. Il attend les commandes. Et généralement, cette commande, elle est sélective. C'est ça qui se passe dans la plupart des cas. Est-ce qu'on va parler de déforestation ou de dégradement ici? Mais maintenant, si je prends le cas du Cameroun, où, comme je l'ai dit hier, il y a un domaine forestier permanent, où les zones sont bien aménagées avec des outils d'aménagement, et le non permanent. Lorsque les gens veulent mettre en place une plantation d'agriculture, ou des projets structurants, des projets miniers, ou des barrages, il faut déforester pour mettre en place le barrage. Il faut déforester pour mettre en place les plantations agricoles. Donc, toutes ces notions-là, il faut qu'on essaie de faire la part des choses. Est-ce que c'est mauvais de dire, OK, dans ce pays, ou bien dans ce village, on veut mettre en place des agro-industries? Est-ce une mauvaise chose? Dans ce pays, si on veut mettre en place un barrage, est-ce une mauvaise chose? Je crois qu'il faut qu'on... Ces notions-là, déforestation, dégradation, dans quel domaine, il faut que ça soit très bien précisé. Merci.
Okay. Merci. Je vais vous passer la parole pour la traduction. OK.
So, yes, we need to understand. Sometimes we don't really understand. There's a notion we don't understand, so we need to ask. And yesterday, Emmanuel Béranger asked about forest degradation. So, non, c'est bon, il a déjà dit. C'est bon. Oui, parce que sinon ça... Oui. So it's just the difference between deforestation and degradation. It would be very useful to understand for the same site. For example, the same forest management unit, it would be interesting to know this difference. For example, logging is determined by law. A client will say, I want 2 or 3 species. It is dictated by an order, and it is very selective. But we don't know if we're talking about deforestation or degradation in a forest unit, because the order is very selective. So, for example, in Cameroon, we have the permanent domain, permanent forest domain, and the non-permanent forest domain. And we have other forms of projects, such as agricultural projects, like non-timber projects, for example, dams or agricultural production projects. And is it bad? Is it necessarily bad to have these projects in place? So are we talking about deforestation or degradation? What is the difference?
So, thank you. We have to look at the definitions that the European Commission provides, in my opinion, to identify is it really deforestation? Is it really forest degradation that has happened? It has a lot of potential conflict in it, because the European Commission defined deforestation as the change also of the land use primarily. And so if forest is harvested and then there is another use for this area, it would satisfy the definition of forest, would satisfy the deforestation definition, and this wood would not be allowed to be traded. It does not matter if it has been illegally harvested in the country of origin. So there is a conflict, a potential conflict that's clear that this will appear. Forest degradation, however, and I brought up the definition here, means the structural changes to forest cover. And so I think to speak a little bit to this question, it will be crucial to analyze in the light of the definitions that we know what is happening on the ground. It will be a big challenge, I think, for the forest owners, for the forest managing companies to educate their customers, to document this education, to document the knowledge that is on the ground, that is in forest management plans, etc., to show that the reasons for potential deforestation, and then from there it has to be decided if certain sources cannot be included in shipments that go to the European Union. So this would be my approach. And in Command Center, there is a focus on really managing these big loads of information and to being able to communicate it with customers, with suppliers along the supply chain. So we are not only here for importers into the European Union. The Command Center environment can also be a useful tool for exporters, for example, in Cameroon, to organize the information, to analyze this information, and to really show the good work that they are doing, the information that they have present. And also, I know that there are a lot of activities with the PIFC certification. The knowledge that is gathered there can be included in Command Center, can be reported. So this is what I respond to this question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Katharina. Just to add something, en parlant de la déforestation, dégradation, comme elle a dit au début, dans le cadre du règlement de déforestation, il y a des définitions qui ont été produites par l'Union européenne qui souvent ne sont pas nécessairement alignées, par exemple, aux définitions de la FAO. Mais dans le cadre de ce règlement-là, l'Union européenne a produit certaines définitions en rapport avec la déforestation et la dégradation. La déforestation, en général, dans le cadre du règlement, c'est le changement du couvert forestier à un autre type d'occupation du sol. C'est-à-dire qu'on peut avoir la forêt sur un site, on passe de la forêt vers un autre type de végétation sur cette superficie qui est concernée. Ça, c'est la déforestation au sens de la définition. La dégradation, c'est un peu dans le même sens, mais même si on ne va pas à l'enlèvement du couvert forestier de façon globale, mais on contribue à une diminution sensible du couvert forestier qui est sur le site concerné, on va parler de la dégradation. Donc, juste pour dire que dans le règlement, les définitions pour ces notions-là sont inscrites dans le règlement, et c'est sur la base des définitions qui sont posées dans le règlement qu'il faut travailler dans le cadre du respect de cette réglementation-là. C'était juste pour ajouter.
Oui. Le problème, c'est que pour moi, c'est des définitions qui sont un peu théoriques. C'est théorique parce que Germain, j'étais en train de dire que pour moi, ces définitions sont un peu théoriques. C'est des définitions qui ne sont pas pratiques. Si vous avez suivi l'exposé de ce matin sur le PAFT, l'un des critères pour les normes de gestion durable, l'exposant nous a dit, c'est le respect de la réglementation du pays. Il a dit ici, le respect de la réglementation du pays. Or, vous avez les lois du pays qui vous disent clairement que dans mon pays, j'ai des domaines dont l'objectif est la gestion durable. J'ai un autre domaine dont l'objectif n'est pas la gestion durable. C'est une zone à usage multiple. C'est ça qu'il a dit ce matin. Donc je crois qu'il faut qu'on s'accroche aussi sur les réglementations de ces pays-là. Parce que maintenant, quand on prend le domaine non durable, dont l'objectif n'est pas la gestion durable, La loi du pays vous dit ça. L'objectif ici n'est pas là. On peut faire de l'agriculture, on peut. Et c'est là où on dit, nous ne sommes pas d'accord, il y a eu déforestation, et que même le bois qui est issu de cette zone-là ne peut pas rentrer dans l'espace Union européenne. C'est ça qui n'est pas bien. Or, on dit bien que l'un des critères, c'est le respect même de la propre législation du pays. C'est ça qui est un peu gênant pour nous. C'est pour ça que je trouve qu'il y a des choses qui sont un peu théoriques. Il faudrait quand même que nous soyons beaucoup plus pratiques pour pouvoir avancer dans ces règlements bois Union européenne ou bien règlements dégradation de l'Union européenne. Merci.
Bon, je pourrais avoir des commentaires à faire là-dessus, mais ok. Bon, ça c'est compris, mais peut-être le petit commentaire que je peux faire en rapport avec ça, c'est que dans le cadre du règlement qui est concerné, il y a un certain nombre de piliers. Vous évoquez la réglementation du pays. Effectivement, il y a un pilier sur la légalité dans le cadre du RDUE. Il y a un pilier sur la traçabilité. Il y a un pilier sur la gestion forestière. Donc, en ce qui concerne la réglementation du pays, le premier pilier, il permet de traiter les questions en rapport avec la réglementation du pays. Maintenant, sur les questions de la déforestation par rapport aux définitions qui pourraient être celles d'un pays donné, la réglementation a adopté une définition. Et dans le cadre de la mise en œuvre de cette réglementation-là, c'est la définition qui est dans la réglementation qu'il faut prendre en considération. Même si au niveau du pays, on sait que ça fait beaucoup de débats dans le bassin du Congo à son temps, même s'il y a des définitions nationales, mais dans le cadre de cette réglementation-là, c'est la définition qui est proposée dans la réglementation qu'il faut prendre en considération. Je comprends très bien le souci qui est posé par le Cameroun, mais il y a une réglementation qui donne des orientations par rapport à ces aspects-là, et c'est sur ça qu'il faut travailler. Donc, c'est ce que je peux dire par rapport à ce commentaire-là. S'il y a d'autres questions.
Merci beaucoup. Bonsoir à tous. Alors, moi, ma question, c'est sur... j'ai vu une diapo sur la présentation du suivi du couvert forestier. C'était de voir comment est-ce que vous pouvez nous partager, comment vous faites ce suivi. Parce que nous, on a un service qui suit ça avec l'Université de Maryland aux États-Unis. Donc, c'était aussi de multiplier avec vous, voir comment vous le faites et est-ce que c'est possible de le partager. Merci.
Oui, le suivi.
Sorry, so you had a slide on forest cover, and I was wondering how you follow up on analyzing the forest cover, because we have a department at the University of Maryland in the US that provides us this service, but we don't know how you are doing this.
So the forest cover, and I showed the report that is generated in the Orbify platform. Yeah. So this information is also, and the Orbify platform also provides a list of sources, and the forest cover is also taken from the information that is provided by the University of Maryland, as far as I know. My Enrico from Orbify, who should be at the booth still, should be able to talk a little bit more about this information about the forest cover. Enrico, are you still there? Okay, that probably he left.
No, I'm still here. I don't know if you can hear me. Anyway, I think I can help you. Okay. Well, perfect. Basically what we're doing is using different sources of data. Okay, we use public available data, and basically there are like some information, some data sets that are required by EU, and actually they're like, if you scroll up a little bit, we can see them. Actually, we're seeing them right now. So the JRC forest, global forest, and also the tropical tree cover. And basically, this is like the data set that we're using to understand the situation in 2020. We can go till 2023 with this data, and then we use other satellites that are able to give us the situation in 2024. Maybe it's like a data fusion operation. Basically, we're using different data sets, and on top of these public available data sets, we can also use commercial data sets, like from Planet. I don't know if you know these companies, but they're like commercial providers, Planet, Airbus, and a couple of them, basically. And we can go down to 1.5 meter resolution with this kind of information. So it's a very detailed information. Maybe I can say something about regarding degradation and deforestation, because actually this was the topic. I understand that giving a definition of this kind of things is not that easy, but I mean, the more detailed data we have, and the more we can understand, and we can distinguish degradation from deforestation. Okay, but it's not easy. I understand the question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Katarina. So we are going to move forward with a program, and the next program. Thank you, Katarina.
So
thank you.
Yeah, I will. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good fair, and I will leave. And thank you for enabling me to present online virtually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.